All right, guys, we're live. Second podcast of the day, Monday, September 4th, 2023, Labor Day edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. Going to break down UFC 293, Marcel. Looking forward to this card, man. Let's just get into it, dude. Your overall thoughts on the card, man.
Yeah, first of all, can you explain to people what Labor Day is who don't like live in Canada?
It's just, I guess, a day to give an extra day off. Like, it's just another holiday. I shouldn't know the history of it, but like I'm just like, oh, I have a day off. It's great. So
I'm sorry for asking. I have no idea myself. That's why I ask.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all.
Yeah, the card overall, not really good, to be really honest. You know, I think there are some fun matchups on it, but to be really honest, this is like a glorified fight night, I would say. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know, I feel like if you put this card in the US, you are in big trouble. You know what I mean? So, and even I talked to some Australian people. They're not happy with this card at all. You know, they are like, we wanted to be on at the card because it's close to where we live and it's the UFC there. So we bought a ticket, but we're not really happy with all the matchups who are on it. And I kind of feel that way, you know. I mean, compare this card with the Abu Dhabi card, compare it to the International Fight Week card, compare it to whatever. It's kind of on par with the Canada card, the UFC 289 card, I would say. But I think the UFC 289 card went pretty well, you know. So we'll see what happens. And I mean, I don't know. What do you think
of this card?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot of setup fights with the local guys. That's what I honestly think about this card. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of favorites here, a lot of bigger favorites, I should say, and you know they should win their fight. So that's what I think. I mean, I think it's a decent card, but really, like if you took away, like just say with the main event was Volkov Tuivasa, it could easily be like a fight night card instead.
Yeah,
right. So
exactly.
I wouldn't say it's a one fight card necessarily because there's some good fights on here, but like it's they're selling the card off Izzy's name. You know?
It actually is, because if you take away the main event, then it's a fight night card, you know. So.
Pretty much, but I'm still watching. I'm looking forward.
Yeah, that's not the issue. We're always watching, so yeah.
Got some comments here. What's going on? What's going on, man? Yeah, it's kind of like a big name. Here's Glenn. Yeah, I forgot about that because it's you know, they're in Australia. It's early in the morning, whatever. Oddspoker, what's going on, man? Glad to have you here, Joe. What's up, man? Little Marcus tuning in. I don't know where Marcus Williams is. Hopefully he's still in the chat as well. Oh yeah, here we go. See, look, this is about Labor Day. Originating the first workers' rallies in the Victorian era, and originally gave workers a chance to campaign for better working conditions to pay. There you go. Yeah, See, I knew it was something like that.
That's what I thought. No,
yeah, I should have known the history of it. The press conference is going to be great. I mean, Sean's going to talk a lot of shit. He's a funny dude. But yeah, I would agree, Joe. Joe, like if you're watching this pay-per-view, because you want to watch Izzy fight, really, right? So, yeah, it should like drives the thing with Dan Wick contenders. Yeah, the low end guys make 12 and 12, right? But like I do think one thing you're starting to see is like the middle class guys are kind of making more money now. So I've noticed with the few numbers we do have, like a Kevin Holland's making 350. You know, something like that. To me, like Kevin Holland's, I think he's a great fighter, but like, and he should be getting paid that. But a few years ago, I think he would be making like 100, 150. So I think the middle class guys are getting the biggest bump because I still think a guy like Sean O'Malley, and I know Dana said he's going to get paid well, but like I feel like he's probably underpaid for what he did because that did a lot of pay-per-view buys, right? So, all right, let's go back to the card. All right, so yeah, I say let's just get into it, guys. I mean, we have how many fights are on it? 5, 12, yeah. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. We start with the first fight of the night, and this fight is in the UFC welterweight division. It's Kevin Jousset and Kiefer Crosbie make their UFC debuts respectively. The odds for this fight are Jousset minus 155, Crosbie plus 130. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this fight because both these guys are new to the UFC. So what do you think?
Yeah, Kevin Jousset, the French guy, right? He's actually fighting out of City Kickboxing. So he will probably have the home pop or however. It's actually not because we all say it's like a home advantage for Izzy, but I mean Australia is not the same as New Zealand. You know what I mean? But it's like pretty much on the same continent, we should say probably. So Jousset, I'm not really familiar with the dude. Got to be honest, man. I know he fought at Haqparast Fight Series and was champion there. So that's what I know. Actually, a double champion, but. I'm not too familiar with him. I'm more familiar with Kiefer Crosbie. And to be really honest, he's okay fighter, but I was never like really impressed by him. He's the SBG guy. I feel like they gave him a contract because they probably want to go to Dublin next year, so they're building up their Irish fighters they're having. And what you said, it's like you've got the French guy also, so maybe also building that French fighters into the UFC, and that was a good moment with so less cards on this fight. Kiefer Crosbie beat a Dutch guy 1 year ago, which name is Brian Loanyu, and the dude is already 47. So overall, not a real good read on this fight, but I would go with Jousset for the simple reason that I think he has more tools to win. So for me, Kevin Jousset, I'm going with a decision win here.
I pretty much agree, man. To be honest with you, like it's definitely an interesting fight because again, they're making their debuts, but like I was more impressed by Jousset with the tape study because again, this is the first time I've heard of this guy. I don't regularly watch Hex Fight Series or Eternal MMA until they make the UFC. Like I think he's a pretty good fighter, right? Like I think he'll come forward, he'll strike with the guy. I think he's tough. Like he's pretty durable. He's taken a lot of fights in the amount of 4 years too. So I think he's interesting. I mean, I know he trains at CA Kickboxing. That's why he's on this card, not the France card. But I'm with you. Like I was a little surprised they didn't put him on that card. And then Crosbie, Marcel, like we've seen him right in Bellator. He had some wins there, but also some losses. I don't know. Like he did look good in the last fight with Cowboy, right? Oliveira gets the win there. But again, has some losses on his record, some finished losses. Again, I'm with you. Like I guess not the best read in the fight, Marcel, but I lean Jousset. And if he does win, I mean the odds will be good for this fight.
Do you think Douglas judge as one of the judges?
I don't know. Douglas Crosbie. Yeah, no. Again, here's the thing: with this fight, like,
these motherfuckers in Paris, they flew Sal D'Amato to Paris to judge fights. Are you crazy? Am I fucking crazy?
Yeah, no, for sure. But I was gonna say, like, although they haven't fought in the UFC, like, I do think Bellator's a pretty good promotion, and the guy went 4-3 there. It's not like super impressive. So I know he's looked better since he moved up in weight, I believe, right? Now he's at welterweight, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna take Jousset. I think decision like you. All right, let's get some comments. Some Crosbie. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a lot. That is a long fight. There you go. All right, let's go to the next fight here.
But Adam, they really flew Sal D'Amato to Paris, man. I mean, I was watching it. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, dude, does really Sal D'Amato sitting there, cage side, judging fights in France? I was like, what the hell? I mean, you can even pick a kid from kindergarten to put him in that seat and say, score the fucking fight. And he will do a better job than fucking Sal D'Amato. But they flew him in from the US to France to judge a fucking fight. It's insane to me, man. What are we doing?
I mean, I don't disagree. That guy's not very good at what he does. Let's go to the next fight here, guys. We've got Shane Jung taking on Gabriel Fly Miranda. Odds for this fight: Shane Jung minus 175, Miranda plus 145. Another fight, Marcel, where I'll just jump in. I mean, I lean Jung. He is the favorite here. I feel like he's due for a bounce back performance. Like he's lost 3 straight though, right? He's 2-4 in the UFC, so it's like not really a reliable guy, right? But at the same time, the Gabriel Miranda guy, I don't know what to think about this guy. Like he looked terrible. It was against Benoit CD, but like it dropped 3 times, finished, has 6 losses resume. He's been around a while, doesn't have a lot of experience, but I think the striking, of Jung is just much superior, right? But again, the grappling with the takedown, but 65% not great. So could see Miranda potentially pulling off the upset here, maybe. I wish I had a better read on the fight, guys. Like my read is Jung is able to win decision. That's my read, but I'm not betting on it. What do you think?
Yeah, man. But man, Sal D'Amato. No, just kidding. So Shane Jung against Gabriel Miranda. Difficult fight, man. Shane Jung hasn't won a fight for fucking 4 years, And Gabriel Miranda, he lost his debut to Benoit Saint-Denis. It was also a short notice debut, if I'm correctly. He's training on MMA Masters now, I think. I think he's getting better. Shane Jung, I don't see any, how do you say that? Any development into Shane Jung's fights. You know what I mean? He got that 2-fight win streak at a certain moment. He beat Rolando D and Austen Arnett. And then he lost 3 in a row before he made his debut against Volkanovski. Obviously, lost that one. I'm going with Miranda here, dude. I'm not trusting Jung at all. I didn't trust him against Bilder. I don't trust him against Miranda. I'm taking Miranda, and I think Miranda maybe gets a finish here, submission 3rd round.
Yeah, again, like I think most of the fights are set up for the local guys, but this one could really go either way. It's really, you think loser gets cut probably this fight?
Yeah, definitely if Jung loses, he gets cut. Miranda maybe gets another one, but yeah.
Fair enough. All right, we'll go to the next fight here, guys. We have Blood Diamond taking on Charlie Radke. Odds for this fight have Radke favored -290, Blood Diamond +235. I like Radke in the fight, Marcel. Like, again, I don't really watch CFFC, again, unless, the guy's getting signed to the UFC and they have to do the tape study. I think Chuck Buffalo is interesting. Like, he is an older, like, I wouldn't say older. He's 33. Like, he's younger than me, but, like, let's face it, the guys at age 33 typically don't get signed by the UFC. But, I mean, the guy's just really been on the roll lately. If you look at these fights, Marcel, like the Brandon Lopez fight, the Caleb Crump fight, the guy barely touched these dudes, it looked like, with his left hook, I believe it was. And these guys, like, died. Like, they just fell down in a heap. It was crazy. So this dude has power. And in the last fight, he got submission. So he's pretty well-rounded. He's pretty tough. He'll walk forward. He's gritty. And he's a guy that's, Marcel, he actually made his debut back in 2012. So he's kind of managed his career interesting. Like, he took a long break, came back, and now he's fighting frequently, right? So the guy's made some crazy improvements. I think he's pretty good, man. And Blood Diamond, to me, is a guy you have to kind of fade. I'm not seeing it here with this guy. Loses to a Ryan Cossey, gets out grappled. I know his striking looked decent. He is a striker, but he's out grappled there. And the same with the Jeremiah Wells fight. Got completely out grappled. I think Radke can take him down. I think he can grapple him, but I also think he can knock him out too, potentially. I think the best path would definitely take him down. Probably grapple him. You know what, man? Another rear naked choke. That's kind of what I'm seeing here, Marcel. So definitely Radke for me. I was hoping to get him better odds because he's new to the UFC, but -290. So I think he wins, though, man. I can't pick Blood Diamond here. I know he's a good striker, Marcel, but I just think Radke is like all the advantages pretty much in this fight. So I'm going with him.
I mean, Mike Matida is like the male version of Sarah Fern, I mean, I'm not going to pick him. Never going to pick him. Charles Radke, I'm really happy for him. He got this guy in his debut. CFFC champion. Dude, he's going to win first round submission. I'm not going to do anything difficult here. Mike Matida, Blood Diamond, is only in the UFC because he's Adesanya's friend. Totally not on, how do you say that, on qualities. Yeah, he's a fun striker, in kickboxing and in Thai boxing, but not in MMA. So, yeah. Radke, it's like a no-brainer, and it probably bites me in the ass next week if Radke doesn't win. But I'm willing to put my life savings on it that Radke wins here.
So, I think he wins too. I mean, listen, Glenn, I agree with you. Like, the level of competition is not great, but the guy's skills are there, and he's kind of in the prime of his career, I think, too. So I think this is a good signing by the UFC. Petition for you guys to bet $20 on Strickland by knockout just for the meme. Oh, well, maybe Beercher, if you make us. He's saying you can't be called MMA odds breaker, not bet on Strickland. Well, I mean, the odds are crazy. Yeah, Blood Diamond is just, the grappling is just very poor. All right, next fight, Marcel. We have Jamie Mullarkey taking on John Makdessi. UFC lightweight fight here between the veteran Makdessi and Mullarkey.
Did they switch it?
Oh, did they? Maybe I got the order wrong. Sorry, guys. Oops, sorry, guys. Yeah, my bad. I skipped the wrong fight. My bad. It's actually Nasrat Haqparast taking on Landon Quinones in the lightweight division. So still the same division, it's a different fight. My bad, Marcel. Thank you for correcting me. I had it wrong in my notes. -455 for Haqparast, +350 Quinones. I'll just say it right here. Like, I don't really understand why this guy is even getting this fight, Marcel, to be honest with you. Like, he lost easily in the show. I know he's like a decent prospect, but like, I don't know how you like lose in the first round and tough and get signed to the UFC. Like, there's other guys that have been waiting and that are on win streaks. Haqparast, all the experience here. He's already trained for this card, right? Like, listen, the guy is a bit of a disappointment in the UFC. His overall record is 6-4. So you'd think it would have been better at one point when he was like a really good, highly touted prospect. But he wins this fight, I think, all day, man. He's -455. I think he wins easily. Probably decision, Marcel. But he is a huge favorite. Maybe he gets a finisher. I'm pretty sure he wins this fight, though.
Yeah, Nasrat decision for me as well. I mean, Nasrat is pretty decent. Although people always give him a hard time, man. I mean, I think he's a pretty decent fighter. I think he does pretty well. And for Quinones, I mean, I don't think Quinones is bad, but I don't think he's on the level of Nasrat Haqparast yet. So I have to go with Nasrat as well, taking that decision. You pretty much said what I would say. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
And they're basically the same age. Quinones is only 3 months younger, but Haqparast has 10 UFC fights.
Yeah.
So that experience factor alone, I think, is going to help him here. All right, we'll go to the next fight. Here we go. This is the right one. We got John Makdessi taking Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie Mullarkey is actually another big favorite in this card, Marcel. He is minus 230, plus 190 on John Makdessi. My initial thoughts are, this is a competitive fight. That's my initial thoughts on this fight, guys, because the way John Makdessi fights, he's always in really closely fought battles. Like, he's a good striker. He's got good defense. He has a 69% striking defense. That's incredible. And Mullarkey's in comparison only 54. So he's just a difficult guy to hit. He outlands his opponents 5.5 to 4 in significant strikes compared to Mullarkey, who is the same 420 to 420. So it's actually funny that's the number. But yeah, I mean, I have concerns about Mullarkey here. Like, this is a tough one for me, Marcel, because I do want to pick Makdessi. But again, guys, here's one thing. He is significantly older, 9 years older, plus the reach disadvantage 6 inches and the height disadvantage 4 inches. Like, all the biometrics point to Mullarkey, right? At the same time, though, man, Makdessi is such a really good striker, Marcel, that a few years ago, I bet on Bahamondes to beat him, and he lost. So it just shows Makdessi's still good. But at the same time, has not fought much lately. The last fight got dropped. Maybe his chin's going a little bit. So I think it's dog or pass. I'm leaning Mullarkey ever so slightly for a pick here, Marcel, just because of the age and the height and reach and fighting at home. But I think this is a potential upset spot personally, too. So what do you guys think? Go ahead, Marcel.
Yeah, so I'm picking Mullarkey here as well. I think Mullarkey probably wrestles himself to a decision there. I don't think he gets caught again like what happened with Nine last time.
Yeah.
Mullarkey. It's like it's either that or you have much more faith in Makdessi. I think Makdessi is tough, but I don't have the faith to pick him, so I'm picking Mullarkey as well.
The thing with Makdessi is he also has 85% takedown defense, and that's like what? He has like 20 fights in the UFC. I mean, he's got good takedown defense, very good. So it's going to be a striking fight, guys. It is going to be on the feet. Mullarkey's going to have to be the busier guy, and you're going to have to hope his chin holds up, because I mean, look at that 9-month fight. He was outpointing him, and then he got caught. So he leaves his chin out. He's been dropped in 3 of his last 4 fights. Man, I really want to pick Makdessi here, but again, like the age, Marcel, and the amount of fights, because that also adds up damage. Getting dropped in his last fight's a bad look for me. So yeah, I definitely think, though, based on the odds, guys, like I wouldn't touch Mullarkey here. I would pass on him. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, I think it's a pass is a good spot. Good call. Yeah, Makdessi's very crafty. I think Makdessi has a chance to win for sure. I also don't like this either. Mullarkey's not great, right? Like he's kind of mid, So I think Makdessi's definitely a live dog here. That's the best I could say. I want to pick him, but I'm just the biometrics. All right, let's go to the next fight, guys. We have Chepe Mariscal taking on Jack Jenkins. Jack Jenkins favored here, minus 210, plus 175 on Chepe Mariscal. I mean, this fight is going to be a war, I think. I'm pretty sure this could be fight of the night, too. I think it's possible, because a lot of the fights in this card, guys, if I look at it, like I think there's a lot of like knockouts potentially, especially coming up here. This is one that I think could go deep, maybe go the distance, and just 2 guys just striking each other in the feet for the 3 rounds. I think it's going to be a really good fight. Mariscal definitely surprised me, man, against Peak. He looked really good in that fight, guys, as I think we'd all agree. Well-rounded. I think he's moving back down in weight, right, Marcel? Back down to featherweight here. So he's back in his right weight class. Jenkins, I don't think he won his last fight, honestly, against Emmers. It was competitive, but I thought he lost. I do think overall he looked pretty good in the UFC, but again, has shown some flaws in his game. Lean Jenkins, he's fighting at home. He's on a nice roll right now, but I think Mariscal, again, is a dog, and he'll fight for your money. He'll definitely fight for your money. So Jenkins, but a pass for me, Marcel. What do you think?
Yeah, Jenkins got a gift last time against Jamal Emmers, in my opinion. It was a great fight, but I think Jamal Emmers clearly won the fight. Chepe looked really good against Trevor Peak, man, on short notice. It was a real fun fight. I'm leading Chepe, man. I know Jenkins is a fun fighter, but Chepe is good, man. I was really impressed by him in his last fight. And I think he's kind of the guy who has fought a lot of fights in the regional scene. And just like when he was on the brink of signing with a big promotion, he lost a fight, but it's always competitive. And he finally made it to the UFC, now got his debut win. I think he gets an upset there. I think he wins, decision win. And I think if I thought it was a close decision, I might lean Jenkins because it's in Australia. But I don't think it's close. I got a 30-27 probably from Mariscal. So, yeah.
So wow, so you like him as a dog here. There you go. There's a dog pick from Marcel.
So,
you should play the thing. But yeah, he's a guy that will fight for your money, right? So
you
definitely get that out of him. Go ahead.
I should play my thing.
Whatever that.
The throne. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Come on. You gonna play that?
Yeah, for sure. But I have to.
You gotta get YouTube Premium. You don't have to watch the commercials.
Man, YouTube Premium can suck my dick, dude. I have already a lot of apps. I have a lot of apps already, dude. And now I'm just talking to get something going because I have to wait for the commercials to pass.
Much longer.
It's like, oh my god, 5 seconds. And okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obi tries. Real name, no gimmicks, right?
There you go. So there's a dog pick from Marcel. All right, let's go to the next fight, guys. This is the featured prelim. I think this fight should be on the main card, but whatever. Carlos Ulberg taking in Dawen Jung. Odds for this one: Ulberg minus 250, plus 200 on Jung. I'm sorry. It's actually sorry, you guys. The odds actually went up. It's minus 290 now on Ulberg, plus 230 on Jung, and that's how I see the fight. I think Ulberg fucking knocks him out in the first round. Like, Jung is a guy that I had some hope for. He had some nice wins, but looked pretty bad in the last couple of fights. He looks like he's on a big decline all of a sudden, and then Ulberg meanwhile, just every fight, just destroying guys now. Like, guy's serious striker. The UFC wants to win. They're setting up the guy who just got knocked out by Dustin Jacoby last year. Ulberg coming off 3 straight knockout wins. This is a setup fight, guys, and he should absolutely win this fight. I think he knocks him out in the first round. That's my pick. What do you think?
Of course, the UFC wants it to win, man. I mean, the dude. I mean, listen, man. That dude probably can get every girl he wants. How he looks. Let's be honest.
Probably, yeah. Let's be honest.
So, yeah, he is also a model. He looks good, and he develops as well in the fighting. You know what I mean? I think I gotta say, the level of opposition, it wasn't that great so far, but he made it look easy. Only not against Candy and Zachiku, but besides that, he made it look easy. And for Jung looked really bad in his last couple of fights, man. Definitely that fight against Devin Clark, where I was pretty sure like he was going to win against Clark, but Clark won against him. I have an Ulberg as well. I'm picking him as well, first round knockout, man. I think he gets done quickly, and I think that's why he's placed on this spot, like the featured prelim, for people to buy the pay-per-view probably. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy is he's definitely a specimen. We'll just say that, right? He should win, guys. He absolutely. I think I look at the comments. Everyone's picking him too. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. We're getting to the podcast, do a little game, name the UFC pay-per-view. Okay, we could do that. Let's just wait. Let's get through the podcast first. All right,
bro. Let's be honest, man. If somebody asks you today, like, hey, dude, you can change. You can look like a certain UFC fighter, a guy. Who would you pick? I mean, Carlos Ulberg would be in the top 5 you would pick. You know what I mean? So he's very marketable. Let's be honest.
Marcel definitely has a man crush on.
No, I don't have, but I can. But sure. I'm just honest. I'm just honest.
My wife calls me Carlos from the bump. She's just. Oh man, that's funny. All right. Let's go to the next fight.
So she watched Dana White Contender Series last week with you when the Proudest was fighting. Okay.
All right, let's go to the next fight. Tyson Pedro versus Anton Turkalj. This opens up the main card. I don't know why they keep putting Tyson Pedro as the main card openers on these.
That's the same thing I said.
Yeah. It's actually Turkalj is the favorite right now. He's minus 120, plus 100 on Pedro. Yeah, you think so? Okay, so
yeah.
let me just say, like, I don't have a good read on this fight either. Like, I don't want to give up on Pedro, but man, he looked so bad.
The UFC also don't want to give up on Pedro.
He looked so bad in his last fight, though, man. Like, it was just terrible. But again, Bukowskis is a good fighter, so it's like maybe we just didn't give Bukowskis enough credit. And then obviously the fights before that, there's Hunsucker and Villeneuve. I mean, we win those fights. It's like the guy's been such a disappointment, though. Again, look at his record in the UFC: 5-4 in the last 7 years. But when he's on, man, he has wins over Craig and Roundtree, right? So he can beat good guys. It's been a while, though. I don't think he's the same guy anymore. All the injuries, everything. So at the same time, though, Turkalj is not – I'm super impressed by either, Marcel. Like, I don't know. Okay, you know what? Let me keep thinking about this one because it's a pick 'em fight. It's a close fight. The card. I want to hear your thoughts on the fight before I make a pick. Let me hear your thoughts.
Bukauskas defeat Pedro on 1 week's notice last time out, and it was in Australia, and he had to go to Australia back then. I'm just not high on Tyson Pedro at all. I don't understand why the UFC is so high on him. He's decent, but decent. That's it. If you look at Anton Turkalj, he lost his debut on short notice against fucking Jilton Almeida. Well, that can happen, Second fight, he fought Vitor Petrino, went to a fight of the night. It was a fun fight. He lost the fight. Now a third fight against Pedro. Dude, he's going to wrestle fuck Pedro for 3 rounds. That's what I think. I think he takes him down and he controls him down. Maybe even gets a finish. Unanimous decision win for Anton Turkalj, getting his first win in the UFC.
Oh, man, I don't even want to pick this fight. Like, I was thinking maybe you could knock him out, but Turkalj's never been finished by knockout before. So, Marcel, you're probably right. I guess I'm going to lean into. Like, I honestly, I wouldn't bet on it at all.
Not me either.
Yeah, don't bet on this fight. But like, you know what? You're right. This guy should win just by a decision, right? You should be able to grind him out because again, Pedro's going to have 5 minutes of cardio like he always does. Yeah. The UFC wants him to get a knockout.
Yeah, but look, like you said, they match him up with fucking Ike Villanueva. Then they match him up with Harry Hunsucker. They matched him up with all these guys to get him something going. And then he was supposed to fight the Korean guy, that Jungmin, I don't know what's his name anymore, but the Korean guy. He pulled out, and they had Bukauskas. And everybody was still like, Bukauskas, short notice, difficult for Bukauskas. But Bukauskas got the win there, So, I don't know, man. I think Pedro, long time have been injured, was long time away from the cage, then got 2 wins against pretty much easy opponents for him, and then he shit the bed against Bukauskas. I think Turkalj won the fight, but we'll see. Maybe I'm dead wrong, and next week you will say, motherfucker, why you lured me into picking Turkalj.
No, this is why I'm just like, I don't have a strong read on. Like, I'm just admitting it. Like, I would never put money on this fight. Like part of me thinks Pedro could knock him out, but after that last performance, it's just like, I don't know what to think about this guy right now, man. Like, he looked so bad in that fight. Like, he just looked like he didn't care at all. Like, and then Turkalj, I'll say this, at least he fought hard against Petrino, right? And then you look at he is the bigger, like the size is similar, but he's a lot younger too, right? And again, I do think he's got the grappling advantage, right? Like, that's where you see him having the most success. And Pedro, 52% takedown defense. I can see why this guy's favored now, to be honest with you. Why the line is kind of shifting his way, I should say. It just it makes sense. Like, he's the better grappler, right? So he should be anyways. Like, again, Pedro's got some subs, but it's been a while. They should have put Ulberg in the main card. We'll just say that. All right.
I think they did that because they expect Ulberg to style on Jung and to get people entertained by the pay-per-view. That's what I think.
Yeah. No, you're probably right about that, Marcel. I don't doubt you at all. All right, guys, let's go to the next fight here. We have a heavyweight rematch between Justin Tafa and Austen Lane. Odds for this fight, Tafa minus 245, Lane plus 200.
Fight of the night.
Yeah, they fought back in, what was it, June? Was it? Let me double check.
Man, when I saw the rebooking, I always got a stiffy. Yeah.
The fight ended in 29 seconds after Lane stuck his fingers out. It was such a bad eye poke. Justin Tafa's eye was like bleeding. It was horrible. Like, it was horrible. Again, I to be honest, I'm not really sure because I think the odds were closer last time. Why? Because his brother won. That means you have to pay more juice on this guy now. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still picking Tafa, but it's still a low-end heavyweight fight between two guys that have power, and Lane could absolutely connect with a punch and finish them. But of course, Tafa fighting at home, he's the favorite here for a reason. Tafa by knockout, Marcel. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to lay minus 245 on him. I think he wins. You should knock him out, but against heavyweight MMA. Go ahead.
Imagine fighting at home against an Australian guy, and you poked him in the eye in the first 30 seconds, and the UFC is like, we're rebooking him, but this time you go to the other side of the world.
He was at home last time. You're right. Good call. Yeah.
So now he has to go to Australia. I mean, to be real, I have nothing against Austen Lane, but I don't really see him as a UFC fighter or whatever. It's like he's like another heavyweight. Although he looks kind of or how do you say that, ripped, but he's like that heavyweight who doesn't really entertain me, to be honest. And I hope he fights with his hand closed this time. We'll see. Fuck, man, I picked Tafa first round KO as well. Listen, man, every single second that lasts longer than 2 minutes, this fight will gonna suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So keep it within 2 minutes.
Imagine it's another eye poke and it ends.
I don't give a shit. No, I don't know if this is an eye
Did they
poke.
do the
Of course,
trilogy?
I mean, nah. I mean, I don't want to see any fighter get hurt with eye pokes or whatever. But I understand what you mean. Yeah, but please, first 2 minutes, get a finish, either Tafa or Lane, and we're happy. We're all happy, and we can go to Kape against Felipe dos Santos because, man, this is a rough pay-per-view, to be honest, man. If I think about it.
And yeah, this guy Marcus, the other Marcus is right, little Marcus. Austen Lane is the height and reach. Yeah, he's got 6 inches of height and 6 inches of reach.
He has also long fingers, apparently.
Yeah, he also has more fights. He has twice the amount of experience, actually, or almost. He's got 14 fights compared to 10. Not twice the amount. Sorry. 16 fights compared to 10. So he has more experience, though. But again, he's taking a lot of damage at football too. That worries me about his career in MMA. Like he was beating all these like guys that really suck, and now it's like he's gonna fight Justin Tafa who can knock you, to another planet. So yeah, I gotta go Tafa. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We have Manel Kape taking on Felipe dos Santos. Kape, huge favorite as well. Marcel, odd for Kape, minus 395. Dos Santos plus 310. I absolutely think Kape wins. My thing is just like, how does he win? Because Dos Santos undefeated, right? So we don't know really what his weakness is, but we do know what Kape's strengths are, and we know that he's got vicious knockout power, 125. And the other guy, I think, will stand and trade with him too. So I think Kape knocks him out. That's my pick, Marcel. What do you think?
I think to be honest, I think Kape will be a more easy approach to this. You know what I mean? I don't think he will rush anything. He knows he needs to win this fight to get to a top contender. Which he actually should have had. But again, somebody pulled out. Kape decision. I think he plays it safe, and I wouldn't judge him for that if he does. He takes a huge risk by taking this fight. Because Felipe dos Santos, I think, is a fun prospect. Lipe de Tona. He's from Charles Oliveira's team from Shoot the Box Diego Lima. Fun fighter, what I've seen, but I don't know if he can match up with the quality that Kape has at this moment. So I go with decision, not with a finish, but will be a good fight, I think. But I got to lean Kape here. Would be a huge upset if dos Santos wins, I think.
I agree. I mean, I didn't really even talk about the guy. Sorry, guys. Listen, I watched the tape. He looks decent. I just think the situation is really tough. Like short notice, flying across the world, fighting a guy who's like ranked in the top 10 or whatever, who has crazy knockout power. He's like super athletic. This guy's interesting though. I think he's a good prospect. Trains with Charles Oliveira, those guys. But yeah, I just think he loses. All right, we'll go to the next. Let's go to the next fight. Marcel. Oh, we're at the co-main events. Yeah, there's only 12 fights in this card. Hopefully none fall out. Hopefully, that's all I'll say. Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. Volkov favored here, minus 225. Tuivasa plus 185. That's, again, heavyweight fight. And, Tuivasa is, a tough bastard. He's got huge power. I watched the Gone fight back, right? Man, that fight was crazy. What a great fight. The amount of damage he took and keep walking forward was crazy. And then obviously gets destroyed by Pavlovich. I think the chin's going with Tai. He can knock you out, but the chin is going. It's kind of weird seeing the matchup in a way because it's a guy with 2 straight knockout wins versus a guy with 2 straight knockout losses. They don't really do that often, Marcel. It's kind of surprising. But I guess based on the rankings, it makes sense. Volkov, though, has looked outstanding lately. He's really coming to his own again. And look at his only losses lately. It's like Aspinall, Gone, Blades, Boost. I mean, look at the guy is fighting at a high level for so long. It's his 47th fight. He's still fighting at a high level. Don't get me wrong. I love myself some Bam Bam. He's a fun guy to watch. But you look at this fight, Marcel, Volkov has a lot of the advantages, man. He's got the height. He's got the reach. He's got the experience. He's got the, I think the better striking from the outside. He's got knockout power. He has the better ground game if they had to go to the ground. I'm picking him to win, but again, Tai's got power, right? It's nature heavyweight MMA. I still think Volkov knocks him out, though, probably. I don't think the fight goes to 3 rounds.
Yeah, I actually do think it goes 3 rounds, this fight, but I'm also on Volkov. I think Volkov is quality-wise too good for Tai. He has more ways to win, I think. And, I think he wins a decision here. I think He uses his stand-up game. He manages his distance, and I think he mixes in the wrestling as well. So I'm picking Volkov here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one, man. I think we both have the same pick. All right, same read on the fight, I should say. All right, let's go to the last fight here, guys. We have the main event. Fight that, we didn't expect. We thought it was going to be Dricus du Plessis, but in the end, it's Sean Strickland taking on Israel Adesanya for the UFC middleweight title. Israel Adesanya is a massive favorite, guys. He is minus 600. Sean Strickland plus 440. I'm happy Strickland's getting the title shot because I like the guy. I'm happy that he's getting it because I think the press conference will be awesome. I think he deserves to get a bump in pay. He's a guy that's been in the UFC for a long time and really has come to his own last few years, right? As being like a shit talker or whatever. But the guy can fight, man. It's just this is such a horrible matchup for him, I think, Marcel. Like you can't really get this is by far this is probably the worst matchup for Strickland in the UFC. In the middleweight division, and Israel is just because the thing is they're both strikers, obviously, as we know, and Israel's the better striker, and Sean is going to get hit. Like I know he does have good defense, keeps his guard high, but he still got to walk forward and get hit. He'll take one to give one. I don't think it's going to work here. Sean usually beats guys on his cardio. He beats guys on his pressure. I don't think that's going to work here. Israel goes 5 rounds all the time, no problem there. And for the most part, except for the one fight per air. But I mean, the guy is just so good, man. He is, I think, still at the top of his game. I think Dricus may have beaten him, honestly, because the way he looked against Whitaker, I think that guy could be the champ. But Strickland, I don't really give much of a chance to. Marcus, the other Marcus Williams, he messaged me the other day and was like, "What odds would you need on Strickland to bet on him?" I just wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I guess if he was like plus 1,000, I'd take a flyer, but he's not, and I just don't have interest in Strickland at all. Even though I love the guy, and even though he's a big dog, I just don't have interest. I think Izzy knocks him out probably, Marcel. I think he just batters him. I think he gets a finish. What do you think?
Yeah, the last style bender against the leader of the free world. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm thinking also about it. How can Sean Strickland win against Israel Adesanya? The only thing I would think is ground game, but even there, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? It's not like you'll get him easy to the ground, and I don't even think that Strickland wants to do it like that. I think Adesanya will be patient in the first round, look where the openings are, and I think he finishes him in the second round via TKO. I think ground and pound probably maybe knocks him down and he finishes on the ground. That's what I think. I hope we get a little bit more spectacular main event than I expect personally. I think like the leading up, like the presses will be more interesting than the actual fight, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. You put Sean, if he's up big. I mean, okay, let me say this. If Sean did win, how would he win? By knockout?
Yeah, maybe, how do you say that? A flash. But he doesn't really have that real knockout power, you know what I mean? He's more like a volume guy. I don't know. It's so hard. That's why there is no clear path to victory, in my opinion, for Strickland. I don't know how you see it.
I'm reading this comic because Glenn's funny. I mean, like the thing is, Glenn, like he's exciting, right? Like I mean, he's not. I guess he's not the most exciting fighter. I shouldn't say that, but he's intriguing. I'll say that because of the shit he talks. Yeah, I did pick all the faves on this card. I actually did. I wasn't sure about the Pedro one. That one, I it's a pick 'em. But I did pick all the faves. I just think they all win. I mean, you guys know me. I usually take a few dogs. I'm struggling to really outright pick one on this card. There was a few that I think have a chance. Marcel,
I have 2 dogs, right?
You took 2, yeah. So I don't love that because I know I'm going to get some wrong now thinking about it, like right. But I just think I kind of do favor the guys that the odds makers favor at the same time for the most part. Right?
Do you remember that card? Like I think back in the day where Makdessi lost to Adriano Martins. That card. I think every single underdog on that main card won that night.
I do remember that card. That was the Bigfoot and Arlovsky card, I believe, right? Yeah, that was crazy. I think I got like 1 or 2 picks right in that whole card. It was terrible. It was a bad night. There's been a few cards like that where I just got destroyed when all these dogs win. Like, don't get me wrong. There's going to be probably like a couple dogs that win, but I just,
if you don't feel the way to pick it, you shouldn't pick it. Of course, that's how I feel.
Yeah. I'm trying not to like. That's the thing. Like, I'm trying not to force as many dogs. Because sometimes I do force a couple dogs just to have them.
I see that all the time on my Twitter timeline. It's like he's a dog. I'm picking him. Why? Yeah, I'm picking him. I was like, dude, you just pick him because he's a dog.
It's like I just try to think about the variables. Like, like again, it's MMA, so underdogs win on pretty much every card. But at the same time, like look at last week, like it just wasn't one of those cards. If you picked all the favorites and then Cornell, which I did pick, you would have been right. So me actually picking Rose when I wasn't like 100% sure, that was the difference between getting a perfect card or not. So yeah, just wanted to explain that though, because like I'm not, I don't want to come on here and just be like, oh, all the favorites should win. I think on this card they should. But it's just like, there'll be an upset and maybe one I didn't see coming. Like, I could easily see, like, your boy Mariscal, just grinding out Jenkins, right, at 145. It's possible, right? So that could be the dog. Just wanted to give some thoughts on that. Have you ever been on someone based on nothing but hope? I don't do that, but I know a lot of people do that. Yeah, I thought that fight was close, the Sean and Cannonier fight. Hey, what's up, Pato? Yeah, thanks for the time change. Thanks for coming on, man. The time change, I apologize for that, guys, but wanted to get it done and out of the way. The holiday today, those prelim fighters getting out 4 or 5 to fight 8:30. Yeah, that's true. Craig, what's up, man? You missed it. You got to go back and listen. You and Pato. You can listen to our picks. Don't forget the paper game. I mean, oh my god, I don't think my brain's gonna work right now. I want to do contender series, Omar. So let's do contender. Cool.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Can you put it on the screen?
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. We'll do contender, guys. All right. Yeah, so let's just give me your thoughts on these fights. Bruno Lopez against Brenton Rivera. I know that Lopez, LFA light heavyweight champion, undefeated. He is favored. Go ahead, Marcel, talk.
Yeah. I think Lopez gets it done,
Minus 660.
Yeah.
So he should win. He'll get signed. This one's interesting. So you got Sari Sivi against Ramon Tavares. This guy is Canadian. He fights he fights out of Burlington, Ontario. That's like an hour from me. It's in the west end of Toronto, and he's fought in what's the promotion? BTC, that one that Jason Hagholm does the commentating for. He's fought for them, and he also fought for BFL. He did beat Wild Watson, the former UFC fighter, by knockout. Which is a nice win. I just don't know, man.
He got a loss against Vogel, the guy who fought last week.
Yeah. I just don't know about this guy. Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, I should pick him because he's Canadian and everything. I'm rooting for him, but
the other guy almost missed weight today. He had an extra hour.
Oh Jesus, well, that's not good, But I mean, look at the role he's been on lately. Like, he's been
Charles Crazy Horse Bennett.
He knocked out Crazy Horse, the former Pride fighter. He also submitted Martin Day, the former UFC fighter. Now, I know he's not great, but look at all the wins this guy's had. I think he's a live dog, man. I think he definitely can win this fight by knockout. So the weight thing, is concerning, but I think he can win.
I was leaning towards him, but then I saw him in the weigh, and I'm not sure, man, if I should.
True. Sadi is minus 190. The Tavares plus 145. Chad Hankum against Dylan Budka. It's a pick'em fight. What do you think about this one? Because this guy is the South African. He's got.
I've seen him fight many times in Brave, man.
Right? He had the split decision, lost to Ikram. That's the fight. Yeah. What do you think of this guy?
Yeah, Chad Hankum. He's a decent guy, what I've seen so far, Dylan Budka, I think, is he from City Kickboxing as well, right? Or not? I thought he was. Maybe I'm wrong. He takes his fight on short notice, man. He got this fight, I think, 4 or 5 days ago. So, actually, I think... the guy Hanekam was supposed to fight was Cam Newston, and he's from City Kickboxing, I think. That's how it is. I'm not too familiar with this dude, to be honest. Are you?
What's the question? Sorry.
I said I'm not too familiar with this guy. Are you?
Oh, too familiar. I thought you. Okay, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. A little bit, because I do the LFA odds, right? So I've kind of heard of him, but I don't know, man. Like in the Hanekam guy, yeah. I mean, I haven't really watched his fights, to be honest with you. Again, I don't really want to bet on contender series. But I would lean the Hanekam guy. I don't know. I'm not sure about this other guy, to be honest with you.
I would go with Hanekam as well.
I think he opened as a bigger favorite, and the line's been bet down. So that's kind of he opened at actually, yeah. It's always been close odds. Okay, never mind. All right, 2 other fights really quick. Gene Silva against Kevin Vallejos. I'm pretty sure the Argentinian guy wins, and he's minus 200. He should win, right?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so.
21. You love that. All these finishes. This Samurai Fight House is producing some good prospects, right?
I beat Garagori. He's like a former UFC fighter, right?
Yeah, he fought in the UFC. Fought like Darren Elkins.
He wasn't great, but he fought.
Yeah, he went 1 and 2, so he has to win in the UFC, and this guy knocked him out. I think this guy might be good, and the Silva guy not super familiar, but he has been finished. No, he hasn't been finished. Sorry, but he's lost twice, so he has losses. I think he's the old. Yeah, he's 26. So I think this is a guy, Pedro Henrique. Was he on Content? Have I heard of this guy before? Maybe it's someone else. There's probably another Pedro Henrique I'm thinking about. All right, last fight. Go ahead.
Aldo Henrique.
Yeah. Dion Barboza against Rain Guerrero. Short notice for Guerrero.
Barboza. Barboza. Guerrero is supposed to fight from La Framboise, or how do you say that?
That's right. So yeah, the Canadian girl. Barboza minus 315 though. That's what I'm saying on short notice. So that's interesting. She's a huge favorite in short notice, but she should win.
Do you know what framboos means in Dutch?
What does it mean?
Raspberry.
Okay, I think I've heard that. I think it might be the same in French.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyways, I guess you have the same pick, right?
Yeah, the Barboza girl. She's like, I think she trains with Cyborg as well, right?
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. Who would you pick here?
Probably with Barboza, but I mean,
I would go
under a Contender Series women's fight. No thanks.
I would also go with Barboza, although it's a short notice one. Yeah, I would go with her as well. I think she beat the better competition.
Yeah, some of these wins are just not, for that girl. All right, let's just get some comments, guys. We'll take a few comments, but we're gonna get out in a second. We talked about some last part of Prato. I like both. We like Oki a lot. I like Oki a lot. I feel like Strickland has some types of wrestling. I don't think he will, though. I don't even think he's going to bother. He's here to get paid. You guys don't like him at all, eh? Fair enough. I don't know, though. I just worry about these guys coming from BTC and like Battlefield. Like, I don't know how good, the quality of talent is there. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Want to say from Joe, deserves next title shot. I mean, fair enough, but like I think Blanchard being Santos and Andrade is better personally. What do you think?
Like I said in the last podcast, dude, I'm okay with both, but any of the two girls getting a title shot, I think they both are deserving. But I would prefer Blanchfield. But that's a personal preferation or whatever you say.
And who knows? Maybe they give it to Blanchfield and then she gets injured, and then Thoreau gets it instead, and then Blanchfield fights Thoreau for the ball. Who knows? Any updates? Here's a good question. Do we have updates for these? That's so weird. So they advanced the Brandon Allen and Dolizzi fight, but not this one. That's weird.
Yeah, I was thinking at first that maybe Mackenzie Dern was fighting at the main event, but then she got announced with Jessica Andrade from New York. So I have no idea, dude, who is on that. Or they elevate maybe a fight to the main event, but I have no idea. I have literally zero idea. Let's say it this way. After this podcast, somebody going to pop up with the main event. Probably Brad Okamoto is posting for some reason.
They always do that.
Yeah.
They'll probably announce it this week, but maybe not today because it's a holiday.
Yeah.
A couple other comments. Lucas Slow Plotty has bad game saying, yeah, I mean, I'm picking the other guy. What do you guys rate UFC 293? Like a 6? Honestly, it's not the best card. 7 maybe? I don't know. Something like that.
6. Yeah. 6 is very generous. Yeah.
You guys, notice UFC's fetish pay-per-view main cards, like any heavyweight, man. Any low-level heavyweight.
Yeah, man.
I think Rose on more impressive. Yeah, that's fair. But I mean, you're forgetting about the Santos win, though. You forgot to mention she just beat Santos, who I think is the uncrowned champion. So, or was.
I'm laughing about Knox comment.
Oh God,
that's true.
Evloev, is it? Yeah, Evloev and Cater. Yeah, they could do that fight. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what happens. Anyways, I wonder if would they consider bringing Max back on short notice to fight Topuria on one of these cards? Could they?
Maybe. I wouldn't do it, but maybe.
Fair enough. All right. I think we're good, Marcel. Let's just get out of here, guys. We went for almost 2 hours today. So appreciate everyone tuning in. We enjoyed talking about UFC 293. If you missed it, go back, watch the podcast. Marcel, any last words before we get out of here?
Any last words, like ECE would say? No, actually not. I would say enjoy the card. Let's hope it's better than it looks on paper. And we'll see next week how it looked. And week after it, we have Noche UFC. I'm looking forward to that one as well, pretty much, although I also think they could have done a better job with the card. But hey, who am I?
Well, absolutely. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks again. We'll be back next Monday at the regular time. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Talk to you later. Good luck with your UFC 293 bets. Take care. Bye.